recovered. But Rocky 4,
Yeah.
that was a mess.
And Adam is like Rocky is your staple. I mean, the whole Rocky series is your go-to.
My top, yeah.
It's your.
I just put it on the background sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, like, this, I was all about the kid. Anytime a kid gets to go up with one of my heroes, I'm always jealous of the kid immediately. I want to be that. I remember seeing this movie at a friend's house. Once again, never saw any movie at my own house. And, of course, then we just arm wrestled the whole day.
Nice.
And then we just never understood why everyone just didn't go over the top all the time.
Yeah. Why don't you just put all your body weight down and then roll your fingers
and then just
hammer
go.
it down? Yeah.
There must be reasons that doesn't work sometimes.
I mean, when you're fighting somebody else who is skilled at it too.
Yeah, maybe they can prevent it based on wrist placement.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you saw Berzink in Pulling John, which we'll go over, and how he just held that one guy there.
That
was insane.
And then he's like walking around in the hotel like, I think I tore my bicep.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And he doesn't make any faces while he's doing this. The other guys are going nuts trying to hype him up, and he's just sitting there calm, cool, collected. And
let's go ahead and get into it because... and if you have any personal memories of Over the Top, would love to hear what it was like for you in '87, no matter your age or whenever you saw it. I probably saw this in '92, so whatever it was, let us know about it because personal stories about movies and that time, would love to see it, especially if you saw it in theaters.
Yeah, especially yeah.
You were one of the.
If you're an older cast, or if you're an older audience listening to us, and you got to see it in theaters or younger, whatever, let us know. Yeah,
or if you remember. If you remember any of the promotion, because the promotion's something I'd like to talk about a little bit too.
Yeah.
But let's start from Canon. Let's go into Pulling, and let's talk about build up to Over the Top. So Canon Films, there's a wonderful documentary that I sadly am blanking on the name. Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Based off their big hits, two of their big hits, one big hit, because the second one flopped, but their breakdancing Electric Boogaloo.
Right.
There's the two Israeli directors, they came to the States, they kept that same model of like, let's produce 70 movies a month or whatever.
Yeah.
One of them's bound to make.
Yeah, this is what's hot right now, let's just pump them out, yeah.
And what people accredit... So by the time they made, we won't go into a full Canon thing, but they've made some of the greatest.
Oh yeah,
we're talking American Ninja, Bloodsport or Kickboxer, Bloodsport.
Yeah.
So they sort of discovered Van Damme. Mm-hmm. They put him in as a background actor in Electric Boogaloo. He's you can see him in some of the dance scenes. He eventually gets his own thing. The legend has it he would wait outside their offices for him.
Yeah.
And then we'd like hold a cigarette in your mouth and do a big spin kick it out. So Van Damme is big into Canon. Canon created all these movies. They were riding high on Electric Boogaloo. Nothing too crazy in terms of success, but they were maintaining. And then came the mid 80s, and everyone's like, Canon's. No one knows how they're making this money because they're not making any money. How are they making these movies? Right. They're $5 million in debt. So this bombastic sort of leader producers were like, I wish we were more in debt.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed that we're only $5 million in debt. The ball's on this guy. And he goes, we have the three biggest movies of our entire... And they put them all out, and it's Master of the Universe, Over the Top, and Superman 4.
Yeah. And they also had Death Wish, too, as well.
They owned Death Wish, and they made a sequel, which people enjoyed.
Right.
But then they kept making them, and they just became more and more absurd.
Yeah.
The co-star of Bill and Ted is in it, Alex Winter. He's in one of them. So, here they are. They're at their financial... It just must be insane in their offices. And they make their biggest movies yet. They make... Like we said, Master of the Universe, a young, up-and-coming Dolph Lundgren, and of course, a legend in Frank Langella playing Skeletor. And they make Superman 4, Quest for Peace. This is when he throws all the nuclear weapons in the sun.
Right.
Which was done because that's something Christopher Reeve, he wanted the Superman movie to have a message for him to even come back to it.
Yeah.
And then...
And I don't mind... A lot of people knock Superman 4.
I thought the villain was terrifying.
I loved him, yeah.
The nuclear man or whatever?
I loved him, yeah.
Grew his nails out, some big bodybuilder. Terrifying for me as a kid.
I think that's the... I think he looks like the college kickboxer guy. That's who he always reminds me of now.
He does. Or the Deadly Prey dude.
Yeah. Deadly
There's not... That's the thing, like... I don't know. If I loved a movie as a kid, it's tough for me not to like it as an adult. I'm sure I would have less of a tolerance for Superman 4.
Of course.
But I remember that the idea of a bad movie didn't exist to me as a kid.
Same here. Like, I thought, if these are getting made, these are worth watching.
These are huge movies. It's Christopher Reeve's in this movie.
Right.
Stallone's in this movie. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about getting Stallone. Canon goes, okay. So I brought up Electric Boogaloo because there was this surge happening, and it was breakdancing.
Yeah.
And they thought, we want to make the first the true breakdancing movie, and they do, and it's successful. What they try to do with Over the Top is what everyone says is, let's make it the big thing. Let's make it what pop culture,
right?
As opposed to because it wasn't at the time.
Yeah.
And Cannon's like, we want a star. You think we're a fledgling company? Fuck that. We want Stallone. We want Don Johnson.
Yeah.
Stallone says, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
And apparently they come back to him so many times that he eventually agrees. And the number sort of falls between $12 million and $15 million, making him the highest paid actor in the world at that time.
That's crazy. Like, they're just, here's all the money that we have, Stallone, and this is it. And we need this.
Yeah, and he was like, I'll do it. I want a screenplay. I want to be part of the story.
Yeah.
And he talks about, it wasn't the most money he had ever made because he got back end off Rambo, he got back end off of Rocky stuff, so he made more money off that. He specifically said, I want nothing to do with this movie after it's made.
Yeah.
I want no back end. You want to use my likeness for a toy, that's different, but like, I don't want it. He thought it wasn't going to make any money.
Yeah.
There's a legend, and I couldn't find any backup on it. I don't know if you came across this. There's a legend that he cornered Roger Ebert.
Yes, yeah, I saw that in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
against the slot machine.
He said, you can pan this movie, but don't pan me.
Yeah.
Which is just wild to think, little old squinty Roger Ebert and buff like 88, whatever, Stallone, just jacked out of his fucking mind.
Just wearing a shirt with hardly any material on it. Just
absolutely. He's bathed in a truck stop sink.
Right.
So the budget of this movie was, Marcus?
$25 million.
Which, hey, you got a movie with Stallone in it? Maybe that's not that bad, right? Maybe
half of your budget is going to one guy.
Exactly. So keep that in mind too, right? $25 million. They've spent $13 million on the movie, assuming that the $12 million is the correct number, and Stallone made $12 million. $13 million on this movie.
Yeah.
Was it successful? Absolutely not.
No.
It made what, Marcus?
$16 million.
And that is tough.
That is. That's good call for Stallone, not wanting any of that back end.
Yeah, because he wouldn't get any. No. And he's done. He did his job. Yeah. He showed up. He got to, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and looking at all digging into everything for Over the Top, which is fun in its own right, but it's just like during this, I was thinking to myself, like, man, Stallone is like, he's still young in this industry at this time. And yes, he shot, he's done something that nobody else probably, maybe Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. I mean, that's the only people that I can think of.
Right.
But I'm sure other people have done it. But it's just like he's catapulted himself, immediately with Rocky. But it's like he is a smart guy as far as what he knows and what he wants to do and how he wants to do things with movies, too. We always give him shit for he wants to have, stake in the screenplay and stuff like that. But when you've made an Oscar movie...
Absolutely.
I mean, if he came to me and I was making a movie and he said, I want to part of it, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Of course.
Yeah.
Not only that, he's made one of the most successful two of the most successful franchises in the world. I mean, two iconic pop culture characters are given to him. And then what I was going to say was, other than Rambo and Rocky, one of the more iconic movies he's done is this one.
Yeah.
Because of its odd history, its crazy promotional thing that it did, and that it's considered one of the worst movies of all time.
How many karate tournament movies are out there?
Oh God.
Right? You can't put your finger on. I mean, you can. There's so many, but how many? Somebody says an arm wrestling movie.
And that's why no one's made one since.
No. Are we coming up with an idea?
Oh my God! Now's the time.
The sequel.
The sequel.
Yeah.
Back Over the Top, where his son is a professional arm wrestler.
Bull's son comes in.
Bull's son.
Oh.
He's Mikey has dropped out of the military, dishonorably discharged, maybe drugs.
Oh, I like that. He did. He was a hero, of course, but then he couldn't handle it.
Yep.
Yeah, snorted a little of the yayo and got.
Then he had to find something to live for.
Right.
You're Lincoln Hawk's son. Holy shit! You must be a great. No, I don't want to get back into that life.
Yeah, it's not me anymore.
My dad would pit me out in diners to make me arm wrestle.
And just that moment before the final fight, going to that truck stop and seeing that Mario Brothers and that pinball machine one more time, and just like realizing what it's all about.
This is where it all started.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to write that movie, let us know. We'll produce it.
Sorry, we went off on a tangent.
No, please. That's what we're all about. And so I don't know. I'd be interested in. Stallone sort of tongues in cheeks how he looks back at it. And you'd be a fool to turn down $12 million for what? Probably 7 weeks of work.
Sure. Yeah.
Good for him.
He doesn't have many lines in it. I mean, there's not a lot
of
talking in it. Yeah.
And he bases his character, admittedly, on John Brzenk.
Right.
Obviously, John Brzenk is not. He's a bit more friendly and outwardly less awkward, but he's still a little awkward.
Yeah.
So with Cannon out of the way, let's talk about Pulling John. Oh my God, a wonderful documentary. You talk about all the characters how exciting it was to meet all those characters in the Las Vegas tournament. They're real.
They're real people, guys. They're not drinking Valvoline or putting cigars out in their mouth and eating it, but they are.
That was a real thing.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
But you're right. They're not drinking motor oil.
But it's just it's easy to say if you've seen Over the Top and have never seen Pulling John, do yourself a favor. It's on Amazon. No, it's on Tubi right now. Mm-hmm. You can find it on Tubi. Watch it for free. But it is mainly about John Brzenk. We do follow 2 other guys, one Eastern European,
Russian,
and then another one from West Virginia.
About the most annoying.
You're cheering for the Russian in this a little bit.
The whole time I'm watching, this guy's the biggest. I would hate to be in a room with this guy.
And you just see him working out in this dungeon of
the Russian guy.
Yeah, the Russian guy. Yeah.
And now the Russian guy. Let me tell you how I thought it was incredible. This is how he trains. He gets in the arm wrestling position, elbow on table, palm open. He holds a leather strap. That on either end of the strap, there are 2 young Russian boys pulling on it as hard as they can. He's also arm wrestling someone who has their hand over the strap. He has 3 people pulling on his arm. And the whole time he's screaming, harder, pull, pull.
It is insane. There's movies that I've watched, and one of them is, not to get too far off, but one of them is Free Solo.
Yes.
Alex Honnold climbing El Capitan, no rope, just bare hands, just moving up. I gotta think. There's 2 things. When I watch Pulling John, and I thought of it the same thing as when I watched Free Solo. If I'm a mountain climber with ropes, harness, and I'm climbing it, safe, I'm doing it, and I stop for a break, take out my water, I'm hanging there, and I see Alex Honnold just climbing up and just whistling while he's doing it. I'm thinking that's what's possible, right? Mm-hmm. That's possible. And if I'm just doing this, then I'm not doing anything. Why do this if I'm not doing the peak of what can be done?
Fair.
And then I see this Russian training like this, not a movie, but training like this, and it's just when I'm at F-45 or something, I just think what the hell am I doing, man?
And in conjunction with that, the training you see Brzenk do. He pulls this skinny arm farmer. He just it's really the only training you see him do is these two like soft-spoken dudes, like, yeah, maybe we could just. I injured my thumb. I just wanted to sort of get it up.
Got my table in the garage here.
Yeah, I got a couple pulls.